Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the Smiths in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker, and it's halftime. It's a Strat Time report. So, what's going on here today? So, anytime you start a new week, right, you want to be very aware that the daily and the weekly bar are going to have the same opening, right? So, everything's going to have to reconfirm or negate what we know about the monthlies, and then trigger on the dailies and the weeklies and whatnot. So, here, if we take a look at the S&P Spider lower middle, the month is still green, albeit well off the highs as we're getting closer to the end of the month. So if we look at the weekly upper middle, you can see this. We open as an inside week, right? We're slightly green, but we haven't taken this out, these highs or those. We had an outside week the week before, right? And so we're trying to see how we can get out of this. Here's the problem. If you go to the upper left, is right now we're an inside day. All right, we're nowhere near taking out Friday's range. Now, it doesn't mean we can't get some motion in here, but we can expect reversals and maybe some sluggishness as we have some things going up, some things going down. What we did just have, if you go to the lower left, spike go inside on the 60. This is something we look for to get some semblance of some movement. You can see this in here. It's formed a consolidation. It couldn't take out the highs nor the lows of the previous hour. That's equilibrium. And then you get their little push here, breaking up into here. Now we have a new 60. The question is this going to continue, have enough power to continue? Because we're nowhere near taking this out. And you always want to be very well aware when you're trading something that's inside like that. So you'll continue to watch the direction of the 60. Every time the 60 opens again, we want to see if this is up and then back down, up and then back down. We can expect that. However, you go to QQQ, albeit still inside day, but we know the Qs have been stronger, and if we can get up there, you can go after last week's highs. So the Qs have been stronger. We've had some discernible group movement here so far. So we got some of the usual suspects. We got team here, and you can see this team upper middle. 2 weeks is getting out of the 2 week range, taking out those highs. If you go to the monthly in the lower middle, you'll see it's in general doing nothing, right? But you have enough movement and a daily movement in team to get something out of it, and so we'll see if that continues. Here you can see in the upper left, outside day to the upside, and here's the 2-2 reversal down middle, down lower left to open the day. This went down and then boom, exploded there. We'll see if anything more comes of it. Netflix started off with a bang here too, and we'll see if that continues. Netflix trying to go into the highs. You can see here in the lower left, Netflix went inside on the 60 and then got the push up, but you're still in here, would need to get out of here. So we want to make sure all these things stay green and give us some signals. Right now, some of these gains holding, especially in the Qs. If you look at SQ here, SQ, once again, taking out last week's highs in the middle, upper middle, taking out all the highs. So we've got some exhaustion risk. And what that means is anytime you go into the new highs, you don't have any pivots that people can be short against. And so the buyers have to continually stand up, and you're going to see this lower left, the 60 is very similar to start off the week. So anytime you get a new hour, you want to be very aware of this. Coming like this. Go to Apple, and Apple just trying to take out last week's highs. Exhaustion risk going into new highs, and you can see it in the upper left, outside day to the upside. So you'd want to stay above this here, above 356.56. And so far so good. And you can see in the lower middle, it did the inside 60. And that's what we look for, the up, the sideways, and off she goes. NVIDIA coming up here now. And NVIDIA, we knew about this one because of this upper middle, inside week break here to the upside. So for the rest of the week, above 377.80 has our attention, because now you had the consolidation going to the upside in NVIDIA. If we go to Overstock, in Overstock, once again in the lower left, inside 60. So we call this a simultaneous break, when all the inside 60s broke in the same direction with the S&P and the Dow Jones Diamonds, right? So now we want to see if that keeps going. Overstock, you can see taking out all the recent highs, and this is something we call it used to be somebody's, right? And what I mean by that is, if you take out the monthly chart, used to be somebody, right? Used to be somebody up in here, and you can see we've been watching this one for a while. The broadening formation, the lower low, the higher high, the lower low, the higher high, the lower low. Now let's come up and take these guys out again. Up here, 29.75. We're looking for Overstock. We still got pandemic stocks, Peloton in Peloton. Now stalls out on the 60, and you can see this comes in a little bit off of that. And so once again, if you look at all these charts and you look at the weekly, you can see this going into new highs, and that's exhaustion risk, right? Because we don't have pivots against. So now, if we're going to set up again in the next hour, we want this to close out and then take out this high. That would get my attention. If it closes out right now up like this at 54.48 above that. If we go to Snappy, Snap here, still just walking up, and Snap's also been higher, which is good. All right, it's also inside year and up, and you can see down in the lower middle. Here's where they stop them out, and here's that T2 reversal that we look for, the 2 down, boom, on the month and still going. So we'll see if that thing sets up again as well. We have gold, and gold doing this. Gold pops its head up, and now inside on the not inside in the 60 just yet, but GLD pops up, and you can see Doji on the day, so it's not doing much as that, but we want to see how this is going to affect the gold miners, because we've got a lot of setups over there. If you look at this, if you look on the weekly upper middle, and you go to GDX, right, you're going to see that pattern. We'll talk about the RevStrat pattern. The inside bar then poke down, then back up. So we're going to see if this sets up over the course of the week, and a lot of them looking similar, like FNV, but now just stalling out middle of the day. But going forward in the week, you probably want to keep an eye on that. We got little guy NK. NK here now, lower middle, inside on the 60, so it's mellowing out a little bit. New high list is rolling along here just a bit here, so the Q's still going into the highs. You can see here, let's just say you can see this is exhaustion risk going into the highs. And if you go to the monthly down middle, here you can see there's that 2 down, and boom, still going, and I got an inside 60. We'll see if anything comes of that. If we go to, let's go to NVTA. NVTA here, gaps up now. You can see in the inside 60 lower left. We'll be watching this inside bar to see if we can take that out, 26.38. Go to Adobe. Still going into new highs, all right, and so still confirming 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, everything. And so sometimes you don't get the 60 signal, and we can get down to like a 30 and see if, like here, inside 30, see this? Here, this is an inside bar continuation, up, inside, and boom, new highs. If we go to a little guy, Francesca, how you hold him up here? Francesca, it goes up and gets stuck here, but just a nice little push to start off the day. As you can see, that's going to be a different color. It's going to come in like that. So we'll see. If we go to burritos, and the burritos here, you're going to see in the upper middle, inside week to the upside for CMG over 1,042.88. That's good for the rest of the week. And you can also see in the upper left the outside bar extension. And the reason that's important is they were willing to pay up over the previous range and sell down. And then, boom, they come back, and now we're going to resolve this thing. It's going to resolve to the upside so far. One of the things we really saw last week, especially at the end of the week, was the explosion in some of the biotechs at the end of the day. And now IBB starting to come back up again here. And you can see this. This is a little thing we call triangle. The 2 down, inside, back up on the 60. That's something we look for. You definitely is something we look for. So there's some of those bios trying to come back and heat up a little bit. Here, ESPR here, and you can see this trying to take out last week's highs here and having a nice day on the upper left. And so once again, here's an outside bar, then inside bar. That when we see this, either side of this inside bar we want to take, because we're going to go after either that or that is our magnitude, all right? Because they were willing to pay up over the previous range, sell down, then they met in the middle. Now who's going to win this thing? Boom, back to the upside. So you can keep an eye and see if this thing sets up again. INCY was a big one for us on Friday. It exploded on the close, and now you can see still going. And this is what we look for here in the lower middle, the inside bar that gets taken to the downside and then reversed. As soon as this goes green, we know we're going to take that out because we know outside bars exist. That's called a 1-bar RevStrat. It's a beauty. So we'll see if that goes, and you can see in the lower middle. Once again, here's your inside 60 continuation to start the day here. 106.07, give me 108.56 and still going. We'll see if that sets up again. STAA here. You can see this thing just exploded last week off an inside week in the upper middle. All right, now we'll see if that keeps going and sets up again. HZNP, more bio, keep an eye on this. oops, HZNP here, and you can see that's taking out last month's highs, having a nice green day here. So we'll see if this sets up as well. Right now it's just been solid. Here you go, right there, right there. And the lower, see this? There it is. So we'll see if that sets up again for you. On the downside, we're getting some pandemic stops coming down. You guys are affected by this, but one other thing we want to watch here is VXX. Right, because the VIX is still over 30, and so we want to see if the VIX starts to drop, because we've had this lethargic inside day, albeit something still trying to come up here. But as things start to calm down a little bit, right, and we'll see if they do. We'll see if this inside bar breaks to the downside for VXX, because we know how it likes to peak. Watching some of the pandemicers right out the chute play and play. You'll notice here in the upper middle, inside week to the downside to start off the week. So for the rest of the week, below 1514 gets our attention, and took out yesterday's lows, Fridays. And now we'll see if it sets up in here. Just kind of cratered, and we'll see what that sets up on the 60. So we'll see if that goes inside 60. You got the airlines gap down a little bit. We'll see if they stay down. And that's important too, because we want to watch upper middle. Anybody taking out an inside week to the downside, that's American. We'll see if that sets up for you again. You've got United fighting back here right now, but we'll see. You've got the cruise lines RCL here, and you can see upper middle inside week to the downside, right? And then now you can see it's also inside on the 60 down here in the lower left, so we can keep an eye on that. However, my new high list is still rolling along here, but like I said, any new hour we want to see now that the S&P is trying to go back to another inside bar here. See this? We just had our inside bar in the lower left. We went up, and then we get a new 60. You see that? And that changes things. Now we're coming back in. That's why you want to watch the bottom of the hour. We call that the flip. It's like a new day to us, especially when you have all these inside days, and you're still inside day in there. Wynn Resorts. Wynn Resorts. We also, when this isn't inside, you can see this upper middle. Call that a Momo shooter. Anybody gets stopped out in here and comes back in or tries to buy in here, going to stop them out here for the week. So we'll see how that goes. So Wynn on the 60 pokes up a little bit here. Would get my attention below this, right? Because that's a 2 down, 2 up. This would be a continuation if they start slamming this thing below 82.52. We had some weakness in Lyft and Uber to start off the week. We'll see how that goes. Now you can see lower left, it's inside on the 60. We'll see if that sets up below the Momo shooter on the weekly upper middle, and below Friday's lows 3-2 outside day to the downside. Go to Groupon, and Groupon tries to go inside in the 60 in the middle here. Doesn't fall apart, but you can see here on the weekly upper middle, taking out the inside week to the downside below 2028, and that's something we're going to know about for the rest of the week. And here on the daily in the upper left, you're going to see how it goes 2 down, takes out the low, takes out the high, and then right here. When it takes that out, this is what I'm talking about. You want to have pivots that take people out. So if they're stopped, they're going to be stopped against that, and that, and that. Take them out. So it's done what it's supposed to do. Also, if you look in the middle, it has changed back to red. That's an important thing to know about, right? You can see this was an inside month. And just like that 1 bar rev start I just showed you, same thing. Inside equilibrium tries to go up, and as soon as this thing turns red, we know outside bars exist, and you're going to take that out, which you did. So we'll see if that keeps coming in. We had a little bit of weakness in Alta. Here in Alta, you can see this. Upper middle taking out last week's lows, taking out Friday's lows on an outside day, and now inside on the 60. If we can take that out to the downside, that'll get my attention. Right now, the Qs and SPY still holding fairly well after that. So Qs actually take out last 60's highs, right? So there's, as far as we know, they're still going and have the better shot at not being an inside day with all that IBB and strength like that. Right now, you're getting a spike in AMD. Not sure what's going on here. Like so. AMD just got a nice push, and here you can see this outside, inside, and back up. So in general, this thing's been doing nothing if you look at the daily here in the upper left, but for some reason she just poked her head up, and that's why we keep an eye on the scan. All right, it's a Monday. There's no hurry. Like I said, we want to see what sets in motion on a Monday, and then we reevaluate on Tuesday to see if everything reconfirms or negates, because I'm sure you've heard of Turnaround Tuesday. There's also Follow Through Tuesday, so we'll keep an eye on that. So if you want to go and trade this stuff with us, come join me here at Smith in the Black channel at Ticker Talker. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Show.